Unnerving historical photos and their disturbing stories. Rare historical photos capture more than mere moments in time. They reveal strange stories that refuse to fade. These 20 eerie photographs are a haunting reminder that history often hides a darker side. 1. The Iron Lung Ward. In the shadow of the 1930s polio epidemic, countless children faced a battle for survival within the confines of iron lungs. Rows of these mechanical chambers stretched across hospital wards like somber sentinels of despair. The sight of young lives dependent on such cold, lifeless machinery is harrowing. It wasn't just the sound of mechanical breaths that haunted these wards. It was the silence of lives on pause, a nation's collective breath held as fear gripped every family. Thousands of these wards once existed across the United States, each a grim monument to a time when vaccines were but a dream and hope hung by a thread. 2. The Mysterious Family Portrait. A photograph is said to freeze a moment in time, but some seem to capture something far more sinister. This unsettling family portrait, depicting a mother, father, and child, feels more like a spectral encounter than a cherished memory. The parents, with hollow stares and otherworldly pallor, appear like revenants from the afterlife, while the child's ghostly visage lingers in the mind long after you've turned away. Was this eerie aura born from poor lighting or something far more macabre? Either way, this is one portrait better left hidden in the attic. 3. The Illusion of Disaster. At first glance, the photograph seems to depict the aftermath of a fiery inferno. Charred bodies and dismembered heads lie scattered in grotesque chaos. The horrifying scene chills the blood until closer inspection reveals the truth. The victims are mannequins from a shop destroyed in a mundane fire. Yet, the image's visceral impact remains, as though the lifeless eyes of the mannequins mourn a tragedy that never truly happened. 4. Shadows in the Night. A dark alley, an ethereal glow, and creeping shadows give this image a hauntingly spectral quality. What appears to be undeniable evidence of ghostly apparitions is, in reality, a still from the 1922 horror classic Nosferatu. Despite its age, the scene retains an uncanny ability to chill. Its crude special effects somehow evoke more fear than today's polished horror films. Proof that dread often lies in what we imagine, not in what we see. 5. The Bird-Headed Figures. Two figures, masked with grotesque bird heads, seem to step straight from the pages of a nightmare. Are they witches, participants in a sinister ritual, or something even darker? The truth is far more mundane. They are simply people in masks. Yet, absent context, the mind spirals into darker interpretations, conjuring unsettling tales of forbidden gatherings and unholy covenants. 6. The Hell Café. Paris in the 1890s was a city of light, love, and horror? This photograph of the infamous Hell Café transports us to a dining experience like no other. Ghoulish decor adorned the walls, and the eerie ambiance made patrons feel as though they were feasting in the underworld. Though merely a theatrical theme, the unsettling atmosphere lingers in this photograph, an echo of a time when dining could be an exercise in morbid delight. 7. Halloween's Dark Origins. Modern Halloween celebrates fun and whimsy, but its older traditions leaned into the macabre. An old photograph captures a haunting figure in a chillingly homemade costume, complete with a bizarre mask and roller skates. The eerie mismatch of elements feels like something conjured in a fever dream. Unlike today's superheroes and princesses, costumes of the past were crafted to frighten, and they succeeded with unnerving ease. 8. Disney's Darker Creations. A seemingly innocuous photo of engineers tinkering with an animatronic figure reveals a shadowy juxtaposition, the uncanny valley. These Disney engineers weren't creating a weapon of mass destruction but rather a robot designed to delight visitors. Yet the cold, unblinking stare of the partially constructed automaton raises an unspoken question. When does the line blur between entertainment and unease? 9. Mickey Mouse Gas Masks. Amid Cold War tensions, the U.S. Army sought to make gas masks less terrifying for children, designing versions resembling Mickey Mouse. The result was a grotesque hybrid, a cartoonish mask meant to offer comfort but instead exuding a strange, unsettling horror. These masks symbolize a time when the threat of nuclear annihilation loomed heavy, and even childhood innocence was tainted by fear. 10. A child's nightmare come to life. Hospitals in the early 20th century sought to bring joy to young patients, but this photograph achieves the opposite effect. A forlorn Santa Claus flanked by two disturbingly painted clowns sits beside a little girl. Her stoic face betrays no emotion, yet the scene feels like a tableau from a horror story. What was meant to comfort only terrifies through the lens of time. 11. A sinister practical joke. Two girls pose in a macabre tableau, one lying on a table with her head hidden, the other peering upward as if her head had been severed. The ingenuity of early photography tricks combined with a dark sense of humor resulted in this chilling image. In an age before Photoshop, this prank felt disturbingly real, a snapshot of a twisted sense of fun. 12. Soldiers of 1917. Captured in a photograph, American soldiers in 1917 wear full body armor that looks more suited for a medieval battlefield than the trenches of World War I. The armor, though innovative for its time, proved largely ineffective and was quickly abandoned. The stark imagery of heavily armored men reminds us of the desperate measures once taken in the face of war's brutality. 13. The deep thinker's isolation. A haunting photograph depicts a man wearing the isolator, a device designed to block out all distractions and allow deep concentration. The helmet covers the head entirely, save for a thin slit for the eyes, plunging the wearer into sensory deprivation. The image is unnerving, the man resembling a prisoner of his own mind, a grim reminder of how far some will go to achieve focus. 14. Creepy Halloween costumes of the past. The eerie costumes of Halloween's past were not for the faint of heart. Unlike the bright and cheerful disguises we see today, these costumes were deliberately terrifying. One photo shows a group of children clad in tattered, disquieting garments, their faces obscured by grotesque masks. The belief back then was simple. The scarier the costume, the more candy one could collect. But if these children appeared on your doorstep today, their ghoulish attire might prompt you to lock your doors and pray they vanish into the night. 15. The scariest Santa Claus. Santa Claus is a symbol of joy and warmth today. In decades past, his image was not always so cheerful. One unsettling photograph captures an older version of Santa, his weathered face bearing an ominous smirk, his costume threadbare and dull. A little girl sits on his lap, surprisingly unbothered by his chilling demeanor. It's hard to imagine children today flocking to such an unsettling figure. This isn't the jolly Santa we know, but a reminder of how even festive icons once leaned into the uncanny. 16. A collector of trophies. One of the most macabre photos of the 19th century shows Horatio Gordon Robley, a British officer and artist, proudly posing with a grotesque collection of severed heads. These were not battle trophies but rather tattooed heads of the Maori people, preserved through an ancient technique. While Robley's intent was to document indigenous art, the image is deeply unnerving. The hollow gazes of the preserved heads and Robley's calm demeanor create a haunting juxtaposition of curiosity and cruelty. 17. Anatomy class gone wrong. An image from 1901 depicts a group of medical students gathered around a cadaver. At first glance, the scene feels like a grim mockery of death, with the students posing awkwardly for the camera. Yet, beneath the unsettling tableau lies a deeper meaning. The words inscribed below the photo read, "Man's usefulness ends not in death." While the image serves as a tribute to scientific progress, the unnerving expressions and eerie lighting evoke more dread than reverence. 18. The werewolf's curse. This haunting photograph could easily be mistaken as proof of a werewolf's existence. A man covered head to toe in thick, coarse hair stares into the camera, his features almost feral. The reality, though no less tragic, is rooted in science. This individual suffered from hypertrichosis, a rare condition causing excessive hair growth. While this photo stokes the imagination, it also reminds us of the human being behind the legend, a victim of both genetics and society's fear of the other. 19. Creepy ventriloquist dummies. The art of ventriloquism is meant to entertain, but its tools, lifelike dummies, often teeter on the edge of horror. One particularly disturbing photo from the 1800s shows a ventriloquist with a puppet so realistic it appears to be made from human skin. The dummy's glassy eyes and taut smile seem ready to spring to life at any moment. It's no wonder ventriloquists of the past were often regarded with a mix of fascination and dread. 20. A possessed audience. A photograph from the 1930s shows an audience seated in neat rows, all donning identical Mickey Mouse masks. The cheerful icon is warped into something sinister as the masks obscure the individuality of each person. What could have been a fun moment for the Mickey Mouse Club instead feels like a chilling cult gathering. The lifeless stares of the masks suggest not excitement but something darker, obedience to an unseen, eerie force. These haunting photographs from the past serve as a chilling reminder of how reality often outdoes fiction. Whether rooted in fear, tradition, or misunderstanding, they capture humanity's fascination with the macabre. Each image tells a story, and each story lingers in the mind long after the photo fades. What other eerie moments of history remain hidden in dusty archives, waiting to unnerve those brave enough to look? Thanks for watching. Please support this channel, subscribe, like and share this video. New videos are uploaded regularly.